Can open relationships really last? What's up, guys? It's me, Lori, aka Loretta Chow, the sex reporter, here to start objective conversations about sex. So this is another Me Out on Mondays vlog. I'm here in my car, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about open relationships, because if you do follow YouTubers who talk about sexuality and sex, you probably know about Shannon Boodram, aka Shan Booty. She's got a great channel where she talks a lot about different sex education, dating, relationships, stuff like that. And she is also known for being open about her open relationship. So Shan actually announced her engagement, and firstly, I don't know if she's gonna watch this, she probably won't, but I just want to congratulate her and Jared because they're such a cute couple, and I will get into all that. But I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about open relationships and sort of what I just learned watching her channel and hearing like a perspective on something that I didn't honestly know that much about when I was growing up. So Shannon, who I've actually interviewed on this channel just about how she got her start in terms of deciding to go into sexology, is also very open, or known for being very open about her open relationship. Since she's been talking about it though, she's got so much backlash in terms of people judging her. She of course has loyal fans who don't and who are very supportive of whatever she does, but she got like a really knee-jerk negative reaction, I think, when she talked about it on TV at one point, and it just brought up a lot of like accusations about how she was making compromises that she shouldn't be making, maybe she was insecure, and just a lot of assumptions that she was doing it because either she or her partner didn't want to settle down. And most of those assumptions were sexist, because I saw a lot of them were assuming that it was Jared who didn't want to settle down. And so I just thought it was just like a lot of presumptions going on, and a lot of people who did not want to accept that someone could be better off with an open relationship than not. I posted that video that you did when you first talked about it, like going on the show, and like the strong response you got. It was so surprisingly negative.
Yeah, it's fear. It's fear that you're giving permission for other people to do this. Please understand, when I make a decision, it's a measured choice.
Right.
It's not coming out of a place of insecurity or like me trying to destroy the female sex.
It was a sort of like cool way for her to get into talking about all the different aspects of monogamous relationships that work, and also those that kind of don't, and that we're socialized to believe are just superior to polyamorous relationships, which open relationships are not necessarily polyamorous. So I want to talk about that too. An open relationship is essentially whatever you decide to define it as. I mean, there is no one way to have an open relationship. There are people who have open relationships who are swingers, who will together have sexual experiences with other people. There are people who have an open relationship in terms of like they both are okay with each other going out and having sex with other people, or dating other people. Everybody sets their own parameters for their open relationships. And that's really the limit of everything that I knew about the subject before sort of getting more curious about it, learning about her open relationship. You know, to me, I take a very sex positive stance on everything, which is basically to say, I think that any sex that's consensual and between adults is fine. It really has nothing to do with anybody else. There's no reason to judge anyone. And just because somebody falls outside of what is accepted as normal doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. So in my mind, open relationships were just like things that, you know, some people need to do or need to like manage, especially people who maybe aren't fully capable in the moment or ever to engage in a monogamous relationship. And basically I just never saw anything wrong with other people deciding to be in open relationships. And I've always considered myself a monogamous person, so you know, I was never really that personally curious about it because I wasn't planning on engaging in it myself. When I learned about Shan's open relationship, it was always like in the context of her defending it to other people, which was probably super annoying for her, but was very helpful for me because she explained a lot of things that like I never even really thought of. Even though I didn't judge, I was also like, whatever, it's just something that's not for me. And I was just imagining that it had a lot to do with people who were not capable of monogamy. But it seemed to me like that was really not the case with her and with her now fiance. The way she explained her relationship made me realize that there's like so many other possibilities for how to manage an open relationship. For example, what you're basically acknowledging, no matter what parameters you set in an open relationship, is that you don't own your partner. Your partner is free to decide that they want to explore a relationship with another person, whether that's emotional or sexual or whatever. And that person can decide that they want to stay with you while, trying that out, or that they want to end it with you, and that you're totally fine with that. And the ultimate point being that you choose each other first, you love each other, primarily, and that loving a person means that you don't own them or dictate to them what's best for their life. You know what I mean? It's hard to say this kind of stuff without making it sound like a bunch of like bullshit, and I'm not about that fluff or anything like that, but it has to be spoken about in general terms because it manifests so differently for different people, right? And I actually think that under this definition of open, as in being open for your partner to be out in the world living their life and being open to the possibility that they might find something or some other person that interests them almost as much as you or even more than you, and that you can't do anything to stop that. I feel like even long-term monogamous relationships that are not defined as open should be like that. And let me explain. I think a lot of people, sorry for the lighting, I didn't come out in time for the sun, but I think a lot of people think that once you are in a relationship with a person, you own them. Even if you don't explicitly say so, you feel like they need to answer to you, they need to ask you for permission before they make decisions for themselves. I've even heard people go as far as saying like people should not be talking to other people of the opposite gender if they're straight, because that could potentially put them in a situation where they might cheat or something like that. And all of this control that comes with the idea of being in a relationship. And to me, that's not a relationship. That's an unhealthy relationship, right? I mean, in the ideal circumstances, you do put your partner first, as in when you make major decisions that might affect your partner, you will think of them and you will ask them for their opinion because you want to. But to say that, you are now like in some type of like emotional jail and you're not even allowed to look at other people, you have to turn off your hormones and not notice when other people are attractive, that you can't talk to anyone anymore, that is like, to me, kind of a fake commitment. Like, if you really do find somebody that you want to be around more than you want to be around me, I'm not going to try to make you stay. I mean, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to make me feel better that you are avoiding those people or actively, running away from that because you made some type of promise to me, right? I mean, hopefully in that situation, I would be with a partner who sees like that there can be things that excite you, like somebody with a great ass walking by or whatever, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth throwing everything with me away for that, right? I mean, if we're both mutually trying hard and we both see value in each other, something like another hot chick or whatever is not going to be enough or shouldn't be enough to make you want to break up with me, or to cheat on me. And if it were, go do your thing. Of course, it's easier said than done. And despite everything, I still actually do consider myself a monogamous person. I know that it's like very difficult for me to even like look at someone else if I am in love with someone, even over a long period of time. That's just like the type of personality that I have. I get very focused on, my partners when I do decide to go that step and like actually make somebody like a really significant part of my life. And I'm pretty sure that I'm also the type of person who wants a similar level of attention and commitment. But that said, I still wouldn't stop that person from like moving on to the next if that's what they wanted to do. Because the way that I love is like, when I love someone, I really care about them. And even if it's not in my best interest to have them like leave me and decide that I'm not what they want anymore, and as much as that might break my heart, I definitely wouldn't want them to stay for the sake of not breaking my heart. So all of that is to say is that in some ways, all healthy relationships should be open to a certain extent. Like saying that there are boundaries or limitations to what a person can act or feel or think or say to another person when you're not around or when you are. That shouldn't be your relationship goal. It shouldn't be what you want out of another person. That's not a partnership. It's like, it's a contract. It's a prison sentence. I don't know what else to call it. And this is also not to say that like you should just be willing to let your partner do whatever they want. It's more that you and your partner need to decide if you're on the same page, if you want the same things, and that and as long as you're open and honest and communicating with each other so that when something does come up, you're not like left in the dark or being deceived, then that's just normal, healthy, plain old love, you know what I mean? I really love what Shan has done on her channel and being so open about her personal relationship, because her relationship made me think a lot about that entire process and sort of what it means when I'm jealous. What does it mean when I say like I am a monogamous person, you know? And it's not like I've changed the way that I want to be in relationships, but it's more that I now more clearly define the reasons why I might react a certain way to something, or the reasons why I might want something from someone. I don't think anything good ever really happens from trying to control people and trying to limit the potential for them to cheat on you. But you know, it's really hard to talk to people about these things because the term open relationship is really scary to a lot of people. It immediately makes people think like, oh, it's just because y'all want to be like out fucking everyone, and they think it's all about the sex. They want to judge every single person who says that they're in an open relationship and act like it's because one person doesn't love the other one as much or something like that. It's just weird to me how people want to be so involved in other people's relationships, and people are so personally invested and offended by decisions that other people make for themselves. And you really just don't know. I mean, life is complicated. Relationships are super complicated. You never know what's going to make one work over the other. And if you have a really traditional view of relationships and marriage, and that's what you aim for, and that's like your life goal, you should definitely go for it. Find someone who also agrees with you on that. But if that's not for someone else, maybe you could listen to them for a little bit and try to figure out what it is or where it is they're coming from. I think we lack in general a lot of empathy when it comes to discussions about sex. We lack objectivity. We're so quick to judge people and like jump on them over something we disagree with that we're not even listening to what they're saying anymore. There are other YouTubers that have talked about open relationships too and have made similar points, so I'm gonna link them down below so you can hear what they have to say if you're interested. So I've got a lot of content plans coming up. I have a few of these series going on. As you guys have seen, I did one on Brazil, and I also did one on being single over 30, which I'm actually gonna post more on because I actually got another submission, and I also want to have each of the submissions from the women who participated to be like standalone videos so that whomever can relate to each individual situation can watch it if they want. I don't expect every single one to get like a ton of views or anything, but I do think that like each of the ladies who contributed their voice to the project had such a different perspective. I just loved everything that they said, and I think it kind of did them an injustice to like chop it up into a really short video for you guys. So I will be posting those up over time. And the other thing is, I still have to get back into the Sex in the News stuff, which I'm actually not sure if I'm going to keep on YouTube. Like, I do actually post the articles when I initially find them on Instagram and Instagram stories, but now that there's IGTV, maybe that's a good place to do that sort of news roundup stuff. But let me know, like, do you watch Instagram TV, and do you even like those news roundups? Anyway, it's super dark, which I'm sure is not fun to watch for you guys, so I'm gonna close it up here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.